traina l'economia italiana. Milano sempre più al centro, insomma.
Eh sì, perché se si guardano i numeri del sistema...
Diciamo che stamattina ho letto per il giornale parlando di un evento che ha come protagonista la città. Ne parliamo in diretta con Alessandra Del Mondo, che si trova proprio in Piazza Duomo.
Eccoci, vi parliamo in diretta da Piazza Design. Non solo nel nostro paese, ma ormai
investimenti, insomma, sono settori importanti dell'economia italiana.
il momento è tutto, la linea può tornare allo studio.
Allora, grazie ad Alessandra Del Mondo che ci ha riferito da Piazza del Duomo a Milano. Adesso io invece
Of Australia's best snowboarders. Troy Stone, switch 360 onto the rail. Oh! Josh Anderson. Oh! Luke Snowden. Let's hear some noise. Johnny Curtis.
So, how did we do it? We had a small team of 3 on the mountain at Mount Buller capturing the action. Each camera operator had a LiveU bonded streaming unit that splits and sends the video data via multiple 4G and 3G networks. With only 1 second delay, it makes its way across the country to our Adelaide office, where the dedicated server pieces each video back together and automatically synchronises them with LiveU's precision timing. Our video switcher and live director cut those videos, add commentary, music and graphics, then output the final product to Facebook Live. Ta-da! Thanks to LiveU's plug-and-play solution to at-home production, professional broadcasting is easy and affordable for our clients, even in remote areas.
The internet can be a scary place for your live video, but you can remove the fear of unstable bandwidth or a poor connection ruining your transmission. How? With LiveU Reliable Transport, the secret behind all LiveU cellular bonding technology. LiveU units bond multiple connections together, and LRT ensures that your content is transported with the highest quality wherever you are, even over the most unreliable networks. LiveU ensures network stability by bonding together multiple networks of varying bandwidths to create one single, reliable connection to transmit your live video content. This way, even if one connection becomes unstable, the bonded connection remains robust automatically. Here you see how it all works over time during a live video stream. The bandwidth will fluctuate depending upon where you are located, if you're moving, or just general cellular congestion. But LRT ensures that your video continues to stream by automatically adapting the video bitrate to accommodate these network fluctuations. This way, your video continues to transmit at the highest possible quality at any given time. If the bandwidth lowers, LRT will lower the video bitrate to ensure the transmission is never dropped. When the bandwidth stabilizes, the bitrate will increase to the best possible quality without any action from you. Whether you're streaming to Facebook Live or covering a large-scale broadcast, LiveU removes the need for expensive satellite connectivity, frees you from being hardwired to an internet connection, and allows you to go anywhere to share great quality live video with confidence.
Hello everybody, welcome to our post NAB webinar. We are very excited to have you with us here online, and we're excited to share some really cool and groundbreaking information with you. My name is Yervant Keshishian. I am a sales engineer here at Varto Technologies, and what we do is we integrate, build and design cost-effective audio, video, and live broadcast solutions. And we carry hundreds of brands, and LiveU is absolutely one of our favorite products and manufacturers, and they have a very wide array of equipment and software and different services and solutions that can really help enable you to take your productions to the next level. So today we are broadcasting from our facility in East Rutherford, New Jersey. We've got and we'll give you a better look at it a little bit later. We've got a pop-up studio set up here for you guys. And we're really excited about our next guest that we have here. And he's George Klippel. He is the sales director from LiveU for the USA. And we're really happy to have him joining us here. He's going to go through some of the latest from NAB this year, and let's introduce him. So George, are you there?
I am indeed, Yvonne.
Hey.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. Where are you joining us from today, George?
I am joining you from a beautiful hotel room in downtown Seattle, Washington.
Very cool, very cool. So, George, the floor is all yours. So if you could take it away, let us know what you got brewing for us.
Sure, yeah. I really appreciate you joining us, everybody who's out there. And Yvonne, thanks for hosting this post-NAB wrap-up for everybody. And again, as Yvonne mentioned, my name is George Klippel. I'm the Director of Channel Sales for the US and Canada for LiveU. And today we're going to go through post-NAB and tell you all about all the cool stuff that we announced at NAB, and get you excited about what's coming down the pike and what you'll see here being released in the next few days and in the coming months. And if you didn't get a chance to be at NAB or see it at NAB, now is your chance to kind of go through it, and we'll talk about it, ask any questions that you might have at the end of the session. So let me get started. And before we kind of dive into everything, in case you're new to LiveU or don't know really a lot about us, really who we are the company that founded this space, and we offer complete IP-based live solutions, end-to-end for news, for sports, education, house of worship, corporate, you name it, even live events. But any vertical that you're in, IP solutions is what we do, bonded cellular transmission solutions. We have over 65 units and 6,500 units installed globally around this world, over 3,000 end user customers out there using us day to day to bring these live solutions to air. And about 5.5 million annual live sessions are transmitted every single year. And that equates to around 220 terabytes every single month, just to give you the size and scope of what our industry and what our company looks like from that diagram, if you will. LiveU Solutions, we're the only company that offers a complete product portfolio and has a solution for every need, starting at under $1,000, going all the way up to around $25,000. So from content creators to the high-end broadcast professionals that like our CBS or NBC, you name it, we have a solution for you. In the upper left quadrant, we call these field units or our portable units. These are what connect to your cameras via SDI or HDMI. And those are, again, the field units. Those can be 4K units, HEVC units, H.264 units. We have all of those. The decoders are in the bottom right corner. Those are paired up with our field units. They basically take that signal and convert it from IP back into a SDI feed. We even support natively NDI, like we're doing today with Yervant on his NDI New Tech TriCaster. We have software solutions like LU Smart and Solo Live and LU Lite Those are solutions like web-based apps or apps for your iPhone and your Android. And then finally, fixed and vehicle solutions in the lower left-hand corner, like our LU610, a 210, 220, LiveU extender. But again, it's a broad product portfolio that no one else on the market offers. And in the middle there, you'll see LiveU Central, which we'll be talking a lot more about here shortly. It's our web-based application, cloud-based, that manages everything from anywhere in the world. So any one of our devices, any one of our products can be managed from any place that you go, and completely controlled and managed and functioned and worked with. So that's just a little bit about who we are. Now let's dive into what this show is all about today. NAB 2019, what did we talk about? Well, there's the whole shoot match. Well, we talked about a little bit more, but these are the featured products at NAB 2019. I'm not going to read every single bullet point here, but these are all the things that we covered. We'll talk about these in these forthcoming slides. I'll be showing you some live demos here in just a minute about some of these things. But the key features I really want to point out is it was about HEVC H.265 codec. That was huge for us. Brand new LiveU Central update. That's that control interface I taught you about for the first time ever, or in many, many years, let's say. We revamped the entire interface, made it completely ergonomic. We've introduced Tally Light. We did some really interesting and cool things with LiveU Matrix and artificial intelligence, or AI. And we had a race car on the booth. Go figure. What's a race car doing there? I'll tell you about that in just a minute. So let's dive in to some of the stuff that was new at NAB 2019. First off, I'm going to start off with an exciting new product. It's called the LU300. It's our small form factor HEVC streaming unit. Now, we've had HEVC for a long time with our LU600, our flagship product. That's the 7 modem solution, the backpack that you see everybody wearing. All the networks use that. But we have the LU300 unit now, which is again, a nice small form factor unit, 2 models, an LU300E and a 300 DVB unit that you see here on the screen. And really the 300E is a bring your own modem unit. It's perfect contribution type encoder used for in studio maybe, or something along that line. It's very portable. Both of these units weigh about 1.5 pounds. The 300 DVB unit comes with 3 modems. You could add a 4th modem, so you have every carrier. And what's really cool about that unit is it has, just like its big brother, the 600, it has dual SIM modems. So you could take it anywhere in the US and also out of the country, because it has built-in AT&T roaming SIMs. So you could stream anywhere with that unit in about 186 countries. It's 12 megs video streaming if you connect it to Ethernet. It does live in the store. It has a brand new internal PC built into it, so it's been completely upgraded from our older LU200. It has 3-hour battery time, plus it has a camera mount for like V-mount, Anton Bauer. Even my boss there, Mike Savello, is showing the strap mount if you want to mount it on a strap, and it even has a clip mount, a pouch, if you will, that comes with it, so you can mount it on the clip. So if you don't want to, have it on your camera and adjust the weight or change the weight of the camera, you can just wear it on the clip. It's a really nice unit. And again, this was one of the biggest things at NAB. People were talking all about it. This unit is phenomenal, and it's just kind of taking everything by storm. And it's, again, the 600's been out for a long time now. That's been HEVC, but people have been asking about a smaller form factor unit for a while, and we finally delivered this year at NAB 2019. The next thing I want to talk about is the LU610. And again, very similar to the 600, what the 610 is the version of a 600 backpack, the one that's been out for a while, in a rack mount configuration. So the 610 has 4 different flavors to it. You have the 610, which is an HD or HEVC encoder. Plus now you can get that same encoder with internal modems. So that's a really huge thing for us now. So you can put 6 internal modems into that unit. And this is a perfect device for somebody who wants or doesn't need the portability of the backpack, is not going to go out and shoot in the field, but maybe has a need for something of a high-end encoder like the LU600, 610 HEVC in the studio, right? Or maybe in a SAT truck as a backup, or a primary in a SAT truck configuration. You want to put the LU610 in there, you could do that now. And not only you could connect it to one of our extenders or connect it into a satellite config or run an Ethernet cable to it, you can now put it in there and have internal modems connected to the device. That's a huge thing for people that are looking for this type of connectivity. And then we added 2 additional models, the 610 with 4K and the 4K with the encoders with the internal modems. Again, this was very popular on the show floor. A lot of people like this type of capability where they don't need the portability of the LU600 flagship product, which is portable, right? So the LU610 is something, again, that we just announced at the show. Another thing that had high praises, and this is especially for those type of people that are looking at really high-end production, it was the LU600 4K SDI. And this is for people that are looking to do 4K P50, P60, really higher end production. This is the people in high end sports production, people that are doing 360 virtual reality stuff. It's a 12 GSDI card, or you could do 4 by 3 GSDI. It doesn't support HDMI, but it's 20 megs per second live streaming in the first phase. And then after that, it's going to go up, obviously, but we also have a 50 megabits per second capability in what we call our store and forward workflow, where you can actually shoot, but you're not streaming it live, right? But you're doing a store and forward back to the server, and that's H.264 based. The other cool thing about this that got a lot of press was this is our first card that supports 8 full channels of audio. And this is something, again, the sports people love, and anybody doing real high-end quality production has been asking for a long time. Before that, we've only been supporting 4 channels of audio. So the 8 channel support on this card is huge. And the last thing that's really nice is for anybody who's out there that has an LU600 today, you're able to just upgrade to this card. It's a simple card swap. You can keep your existing LU600 and replace it with this card, and you have the full 4K SDI capability. So a wonderful card to have, especially if you're one of those companies that does this super high-end production or has that high, quality type of need to do this type of production or high-end sports. So moving on, another huge request that's been out there for quite some time, Tally Light. Anybody who's a talent loves Tally Light. Now, LiveU's had IFB for quite some time, many years, as a matter of fact. So we've always been able to talk back and hear the commands from the TD or the director to the talent or to the camera person. But talent always want to know when they're on the air. They hate getting caught off guard, right, when they're on the camera, right? So this is a simple tally, right, for production switcher to the field. And it has ultra low delay. It's a GPI trigger. And on the bottom there, you can see it's really just a connection from your production switcher. It's going to go right through a GPIO device into our LU2000 or an LU4000. And then it comes out to whatever field unit you're using. Now, we support the LU600, the 610, and the LU300 for the Tally Light. And then it's a small USB light that sits right on top of the unit, and the talent will know when they're live or when the streaming is happening. So it'll be red when they're live, and the tally will turn to green when the package or whatever is streaming. So they'll know both situations, when they're on camera and they're live, and again, when it's streaming. So something that people have been asking for a while. We finally have Tally Light. Yay. So here's another thing that people have been asking for some time, and we're calling it IFB 2.0 or version 2.0. I don't know if that's the official final marketing name, but that's what we call it at NAB anyway. In phase 1 that comes out this month, later this month, it's going to be 2-way communications. So our IFB until now has always been just one way. So I would be the TD talking to you, the talent, and I would say, get ready, we're coming to you in 3, 2, 1, and you'd have no way of saying anything back to me. So it was always one-way comms. So now with IFB, the first phase that we're introducing this month, it's 2-way comms. So you'll be able to talk back and forth with your director or your TD. And that's something that the talent and camera people have always wanted. Now, later in the year, this will be probably in Q3 sometime, we'll actually have full party line communications with the IFB. So you'll be able to talk to many users out there. So if you have multiple cameras, if you're doing an at-home or Remy production type of scenario, or if you're in news and you have a lot of people that are out there on multiple units, you'll be able to actually have this party line, which is the next step in the evolution of our IFB, which is great. So again, long called for, big feature request for us, and at NAB, everybody was very, very happy. Tally and two-way comms and IFB, huge feature for LiveU and for its customer base. Advanced least cost bonding was another one that we announced. Now, we've always had least cost bonding, and if you don't know what that is, let me just explain it really quickly. Least cost bonding is the ability to tell your unit or to set it up and configure it so when it sees Ethernet, it will use that first. And then if it sees Wi-Fi, it'll use that second. And if it sees cell, it uses that last. So what's really nice about that is if you're, let's say, in a studio environment or somebody gives you Ethernet, really reliable signal, you're not burning through your cell data plan, and you're able to use that Ethernet and not burn, again, through your cell data plan. And if the Ethernet drops, it automatically tries to see Wi-Fi. And if there's no Wi-Fi, it goes right to cellular. It doesn't drop your signal. It doesn't, do anything to the signal. It's all automated through our system. So with advanced least cost bonding, you can actually use modems first, Wi-Fi second, per interface priority. You could do a lot more than you could even before. You can get very granular with this, and it's all about set priority, saving you money on your data plan, making sure that you manage it properly. We've had some of our customers who were using cellular bandwidth when they were plugged into Ethernet, which is not the right thing to do, right? You want to not use your bandwidth of cellular when you don't really need it. So this is advanced least cost bonding. It's available on the 600, the 610, and also the 300. So another feature that people love to see us continuing to improve. And this was another one here, this one called Speed Test, which is something that people have been using third-party apps on cell phones or on their laptops to do in the past, and now we brought it into the software, into LiveU Central, and it's also available on the unit. So it allows you as the camera person or at the MCR to test the cellular coverage for a location without connecting the camera. You don't even have to worry about that. It gives you an accurate reading where you are for your location. So it tells you what kind of speed you're going to get for where you're located, right? So if you're in the boondocks, you'll see, hey, am I going to get a good quality signal here? What the speed is going to be for me, and it at least gives you a nice accurate reading on site. So these are some of the main big things that we've done. This is another one. Now, this is kind of interesting if you're in education in particular or corporate, because those are the two use cases that come to mind right off the bat when you think about single sign-on or SSO. It integrates with customers' Active Directory or IDaaS for user management. And what this does, or SSO does, or single sign-on, is when you sign up, and I used to do a lot with education in my previous position at Varto Technology, and in academia, people sign in, right? When the student signs up for a class in one semester, when they finish, they drop out of that class. And if you're in Active Directory, you sign up through the registrar's office, and when you finish or graduate, you're dropped from that class or removed from that class through Active Directory. And having a single sign-on and being connected through Active Directory, you can sign in and get an account through LiveU Central, and then when you leave, you actually could be removed from the single sign-on or through Active Directory. Same thing if you're at a network and you use a LDAP or some sort of account like that, and single sign-on will work very, very well for customers like that. So when people get hired and leave or whatever, it's a nice way to manage user accounts within LiveU Central. So now this is what I'm going to switch over in just a second to our user interface, which I think you'll really enjoy, especially if you've been a LiveU user for a while, because this is the biggest change since I've been here, just over 3 years, to the interface. It's really nice. LiveU Central version 8. It's now available for people to play around with. If you've got a 7.5, or if that's what you're working on now, you'll see that 8.0 is available for for you to start testing or looking at or playing around with. It doesn't officially release until later at the end of the month, or I think first week of June maybe. But it is available for you now to kind of get your feel for it if you want to. You'll see that there's a message at the top of your LiveU Central interface, but it's a brand new modern UI design. It has extended unit panel, floating notifications. You could do quite a few things with it, and the biggest thing is that it's completely modular. The old interface, which I'll go back and forth and show you in just a second, between the two, was very stagnant. I mean, it's a great interface, a great UI design, but it was very rigid, if you will. So let's flip over to that. I want to show you real quick between the two interfaces. So as you can see here in my screen, this is the 7.5 interface that you're probably all very familiar with. Or if you haven't seen it before, this is what the interface is that everybody uses to manage your units, right? So you have a units list, which shows you all your units that are online or offline or transmitting. These are the units here that show up under your units list. And then you have these different views. You have a multi-view that shows you the units over here and the outputs that you have. You have a map view, and your map view shows your geolocation, which shows, hey, I'm up here in Washington State in Seattle. There's my little unit bouncing around. Where am I? If I zoom in, I'm very close to the fish market. There I am. And that's what the old interface looks like. And over here, if you start streaming, you'll see previews. You have delay settings, starting and stopping. It shows all your modems, etc. So this is what the old interface is about. It's all tabulated. Tabular, you go between different tabs, one tab here, 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 and it's just clicking through like that. And now if I switch over to the new interface in this tab, you'll see that you have the same types of things, but it's a different look completely. So you still have transmitting online, offline. You can turn these things around. But instead of all the different tabs, you have different windows and ways of getting to them, right? Instead of tabs for everything, now you have pull downs that you can go to, right? To get to things easier, devices and channels you can manage. You even have, again, you can still use the old interface as you see here, and you can scroll down like you did before. But there's this really cool expansion box here where now in one view, you can see everything. You can see the preview mode. You can see all your modems here at one time. You can see the map, the geolocation. I'm not in Africa, I'm over here. But you can also scroll down and get more data about all of your interfaces, all of your modems and their performance. You could see metadata. You can expand and collapse these different windows to narrow down in just one easy view. You can see everything at once versus going back to a screen, over to another screen, and it makes it very simple and dynamic for you to get around the interface. It's much easier to do versus what you had to do previously. And another nice thing that we've added to this that I didn't mention earlier was in the interface. Now you have all these notifications, these pop-up windows that tell you when you stop and start transmitting. When you manage a device or a channel, you can come in and actually, if you go to channel like channel 3, I was just on here, you can select graphics overlays. This is now included. So LiveU has always had, in the last year or so, we have these real-time cloud-based graphics. You can buy those as an additional add-on. So they're cloud-based graphics like lower thirds, putting in titles and bugs, and we have all these built-in different templates that you can do and you can put in and use. It's very nice. It's nothing like you can do with the TriCaster or other high-end graphics program. But now what we've included with LiveU Central at no charge is this thing called graphics overlay, where you can simply come in and select and upload a different bug or an overlay. and add it to your stream, and essentially you'll basically be able to put it onto the stream. You'll be able to scale it in any size that you want. You'll be able to move it around anywhere you want. So you can just put up a bug or put in your logo. So it's designed for a real simple bug or logo. Like I put the Varto logo in here. I could scale it. I can position it wherever I want and just drag it in there, drop it, apply it, hit OK. But this is included now at no charge. You don't have to pay anything for it. And then when you hit start and you start your streaming, you'll see the Varto logo will come up in our little preview window there. And this, again, is part of the new version of LiveU Central. And you don't have to buy this. It's just a logo bug, a video logo bug. And it could be a logo. It could be, a lower third if you wanted it to be. But it's something very simple, easy to use, and it'll accept the PNG, JPEG, I think a bitmap as well, but there's the little logo that we just put in with Varto's logo that we got off the webpage. So again, that's one of those new things that we just added to the interface that people have been asking about. Hey, look, I just want one bug. I just want to put a bug in. I don't want a bunch of different graphics and all these other things that you could do with the real cool graphics program that you guys sell. I just want one bug, one thing. And we've added it to this new 8.0 interface. So really neat. And again, this has been really beefed up. There's a lot of other things that are new that I could go over and spend an hour on, but we don't have that much time, so I don't want to run out of time. And I'll go back to my PowerPoint. So going back to the PowerPoint, one of the other things that got a bunch of great press, and it won Best of Show. That's the product manager there, Chris Perry. Was LiveU Matrix. It's a single view, easy to use IP cloud-based management platform. And this is designed for our network affiliates, media groups, local loops, or local news stations to essentially share content, right? And really aggregate content between each other. And it has preview of feeds, and you can use metadata and search and filter feeds between the groups. Immediately distribute live video content without interrupting current transmissions, do multimedia notifications, deliveries throughout the platform, and there's even real-time collaboration between the news desk and engineers and producers using a built-in chat room messaging system. And again, this LiveU Matrix for us won Best of Show, which was a huge, huge honor. And CBS NewsPath, this was a big announcement for us. They selected LiveU Matrix to deploy to over their 220 different network affiliates throughout the U.S. and actually did not renew their satellite contracts throughout the NewsPath organization because they're using Matrix as the management platform to share content now going forward. So that was massive for us as an organization. And again, the design of this thing and what it does and how it's going to change the dynamics on how content is shared. Winning Best of Show, again, well worth it for everybody involved, and a great, great product called LiveU Matrix. And we also had a big announcement with artificial intelligence, or AI. We call it LiveU News AI. And it works with media workflows integrated with NRCS systems and existing MAMs. Right now, this works with two systems, Avid Interplay and Delete. It'll actually be working with more in the future. It's a very unique system. It ties into Matrix that we just talked about a moment ago. It provides holistic cognitive approach to content management, does things like facial recognition, video indexing, has 15 different language translations, metadata, cloud recording, less than 20-second delay from the time that it does this recognition and indexing to the time that it's available to you. And LiveU Central is a huge part of this process. We partnered with a company by the name of NewsBridge, and they help enable all these AI capabilities. And I think you'll see, and this was talked about a lot during NAB, a lot of different booths were talking AI and those types of features. throughout the show, and our integration was just amazing. We had a demo on the show floor where you could actually hold something in front of a camera, and the camera would recognize it and give suggestions. Like you could hold a banana or a water bottle and it would see that it was a water bottle, and it would say water bottle or plastic bottle with water in it. It would have all these different ideas and suggestions for recognition and all of that. So I think as we go forward, AI is going to become more and more part of an integration into our workflow in the future. And then last but not least, as far as what was a lot of talk on the show floor, at-home production. We had, not only were we doing it at LiveU, we were doing at-home production work, but we had probably dozens and dozens of other companies, as well as people roaming the show floor doing at-home production, which for us is, REMI type of production, where you're sending multiple cameras back to a control room in another location, right? Back to a control room at home, or in your control room in another town or area, right? It reduces the need for sat trucks or uplink or downlink time. No on-site production truck or location needed. You don't have to worry about Ethernet drops. Reduces all of your personnel, travel, and equipment shipping expenses, or most of those, right? And you can expand your production capabilities without increasing budgets. So one of the ways that we're doing it, or one of the ways that we can show it today, is your Vant is, controlling everything on his end at Control Room Central back there in New Jersey, and I'm out here in Seattle. So I've got my LU300 here, and I've got this beautiful cloudy Seattle day, of course, here in Seattle, and it's cloudy. So I'm going to start my LU300 up, and I'm going to ask your Vant to take my feed and do a little something with it. And this demonstrates this at-home production perfectly. It's a single camera, but by giving him my feed, and your Vant, I'm hoping you can see it.
I do. It's coming in. Here we go. Let's switch
Yeah.
over to it. Let's see if you can. I'll take a look. There you go. Beautiful, beautiful day you got over there, George.
It's gorgeous, right?
I think you're shooting through a screen too, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a dirty cloud, dirty window with a cloudy day,
Well,
right?
the signal's coming in great.
Yeah, well, there you go. So this at-home production workflow, right? So now I'm here in Seattle, and your Vant's got his beautiful setup of his TriCaster. What are you using, by the way, for your TriCaster today?
Yeah, so I've got a TC1 running right now. We've got a whole bunch of sources coming in. So we're bringing you in remotely using the Skype function, so that way you can get a return back as well. We could have done that with a 600 too, but you've got a 300 over there.
Right.
And we're doing the full switch here on the TriCaster. We're streaming with the TriCaster as well right now. So it's a really powerful setup here, and we'll go through a little bit of our interface as well. But it's incredibly easy to bring these sources in. So I have an LU2000 server in the rack that's sitting right next to me. We'll give you a look at that in a second. But the sources are coming in. It's actually outputting via NDI into my TriCaster. So I'm actually able to bring it right into my interface, and I'll give you guys a quick look at that as well.
Why don't you do something with it that's cool? So like show them you're editing something, and put a some cheesy effect on there, or whatever, well, because that's the whole idea with at home, right? You didn't have to pack your TriCaster to come all the way out here to produce it, man. You're producing it right there. My high-end HD camera is pointing out a window,
well, I'll
and you're
show
adding.
You.
Show us.
I'll kick on. Let's see if we can kick this on here. I'll kick on my 600 too, so you guys can check it out. Is it on? Yeah. Well, here, while we're doing that, I'll give you a quick walk through the interface. So on the TC1 right now, you can see I've got my source coming in here at the top left, and I have George coming in as input 2 as well. We've got his screen coming in, but there's George's 300 coming in as a source. Let's take a look at that over here. So it's coming in as a source, and then I can go ahead and I can put that into a mix effect. I laid a graphic on it. And so that's what you guys are seeing there. That's his live source coming in via NDI. And then again, we have the ability to go and choose. So if I switch back over here so you can take a look, if I go ahead and hit the drop-down menu here, you'll see the LiveU shows up as a source via NDI. And of course, the LU2000 has the ability to come in via SDI as well. So there's multiple servers to choose from: single channel, dual channel, quad channel. There's also the LU4000, which is a 4K capable server. So the options are wide, and you can have any combination of these as well to utilize. So the LiveU kind of end-to-end solution can really be used for a lot of different kinds of environments. So George is, we're talking about the at-home production, where again, we're in East Rutherford. We're able to pull in sources from anywhere around the world. But the LiveU products can also be utilized as a final transmission point. So if you are concerned with the network capabilities in the venue that you might be broadcasting from, if they're giving you an Ethernet connection that's suspect, if it's hanging by a thread off the wall, you don't feel comfortable broadcasting your full show off of something that may be unreliable. Or again, if there's no internet wherever that you might be in terms of hardline connection, you can use a LiveU encoder, the 200, 300, the 600, as your final point of transmission. So you can go ahead, you can take your TriCaster, its final output. You'll then be able to feed that SDI into an LU300, for example, and then that's your final transmission point. You can go to Facebook, you can go to YouTube, you can go to any RTMP destination. So it's very flexible on that front, and again, it's a versatile product. So the same encoder can be used today for one type of production and tomorrow for a different type of production. And I mean, it's really powerful being able to do these sorts of at-home productions. And we've got a number of clients. I won't go through the names of them, but they're able to take endless sources in, not only through the encoders, the 200, the 300, the 600, but also LU Smart. We didn't go through too much of the LU Smart today, but LU Smart gives us the ability on the iPhone or an Android. You're able to bring those sources in from anywhere. So again, once you kind of jump into the LiveU workflow, there's a lot of different directions you can go into, and you can grow as well. So we've got some. Go ahead, George.
No, absolutely. You're 100% correct. And once you get into the workflow and you start using it, and when we're talking about at-home production, amazing editing, by the way. I thought you just did a wonderful job of editing that piece into the cloudy day, into your environment down there. It's beautiful. But speaking of LU Smart, adding your Android or your iPhone app, taking that into this environment, that could be part of your at-home production environment, right? So you can use full field units like the 200, the 300, the 600. You can add LU Smart into that, so it can be part of that at-home production environment, and all of those sources can be sent back to your server and used and switched into this real-time environment, right? So it's a great point. I'm glad you brought it up. So I have a couple more slides that I want to get through to finish up, so we can finish up on time and open it up to some Q&A. So let me jump back to my next slide. Is going to kind of, I think, freak everybody out, because this is what we had in our booth, a race car. It was mind-blowing. We had this race car that you see at the top of the slide there in our LiveU booth. And one of the reasons we had it is because extreme sports is something that is really taken off at LiveU, and the HEVC product line has been this wild kind of, I guess, leverage piece, if you will, in extreme sports, because the codec is so good in low bandwidth areas, and in areas where you're really struggling to get bandwidth, and sometimes in racing in particular, car racing, you're moving at super high speeds. They're out in the middle of nowhere sometimes. They have to struggle to get this bandwidth. Well, we partnered with the Grip Series Racing, GRIP, and they took 11 of our LiveU units, the LU300, put them in these race cars and connected them to these GoPro units. And what they did is they connected it to these vMix live production software systems and added graphics and the telemetry data that you see in the bottom picture there. And they broadcast out to live to Facebook and YouTube. And the series allows users to even interact with these race car drivers. And the winner of this series is kind of like a competition. The winner of the virtual folks who are playing in this series at the end of the year gets to drive one of these race cars for a lap. So it's pretty cool. And sports, and especially the extreme sports, it's one of our fastest growing segments. So it was pretty cool to see people coming over to see how the race car was configured with the HEVC unit. It sits up front in the nose piece, or just a little bit back from the nose is where it's mounted, and connects to the GoPro there in the car. So the users can actually see all these different cars going around the track. It's amazing just how wonderful that looks and how cool it is to be, first person in the car. And it's using our technology, bonded cellular, to get that signal back and distribute it out across the different platforms. And then finally, I wanted to talk about a couple of promotions before we open it up to the Q&A, right? So, of course, it was NAB. We announced some really cool promotions. If you're looking to get into this bonded cellular environment, or if you have units and you want to add to it before the end of the month, if you purchase an LU300, we have a great promotion where you get 3 months of data for free. So that's something really cool to think about and to look into. And of course, Yervant has all the details on that. And the same thing if you have some older units, the LU200s, the LU500s. We have a trade-in promotion. If you have an LU200, you can get $1,500 towards credit towards purchasing a new LU300 or a new LU600. And the same thing goes with an LU500. You can get $7,000 of a trade-in credit towards an LU600, or $3,500 towards an LU300. So both are great promos. They've been pretty successful so far, and hopefully somebody on the WebEx today can take advantage of those as well. So next steps for us, I want to say first off, thank you for joining, and we'll take some Q&A here in a second, but schedule a demo with Varto Technologies. They've got all the equipment you could want. They've got the 4K server, they got a 600, they got a 300, they got a 200, they got pretty much everything. So you can schedule a demo with them live and in person. They'll come out and see you. They'll do a WebEx. They've got demo gear for try and buy. So make sure to get in touch with Varto and his team over there in Yervant, and they'll hook you right up. My contact information is here. If you have questions, you want to ask me anything, feel free to reach out via email, give me a call, and we'll be glad to help you and talk to you about all these different things that we spent just a few minutes today to go over. And it's kind of like drinking water from a fire hose. I get it, but please reach out to anybody here to schedule a demo and get your hands on these units and really try them out, because I'm sure you'll be excited. And again, the new 8.0 version is just around the corner for release, and it's out now for trying it. So if you're already using LiveU, you can try the 8.0 version right now. So we can, Yervant, obviously, if you have anything else you'd like to add, but I'd love to make sure we have time for the Q&A with everybody. And if any questions have come in on the chat, let's go through them.
We've gotten a few in. So first off, we've got a question. They're asking if when might V8 version 8 be released? Let's start with that at least. When do we think that
it should be?
come out?
Yeah, so right now to test it, if you're using another version of LiveU Central, you can test it right now. It's listed right there. When you open up LiveU Central and log in, you can start playing with it right now. But the official release date, I believe, is the end of May or the first week of June.
Okay, perfect. Another big question, loaded question. But I know LiveU's made an announcement not too long ago about this, 5G. What are we doing about 5G? Are we supporting it? Is it real? Is it happening? What's up with 5G, George?
A 5G is a great question. I just asked that yesterday to my product manager, and I'm looking for the answer right now. But actually, 5G is kind of it's going to enable a lot more features than we've ever imagined. It's going to not just be speed. It's not going to be just power and other things. It's going to enable other stuff like super low latency. It's going to enable other things like more audio channels, up to maybe 32 audio channels. Who knows? Some of the advances of 5G are going to be less obvious, like network slicing, other things. But LiveU is already enabled for 5G. Our equipment's already there and ready for 5G. Once the manufacturers and the carriers are ready for 5G. The way we're looking at it is it's going to roll out or be a rollout very similar to like LTE was, right? Can you imagine if you think back to how LTE rolled out, years ago? Nobody could have imagined where LTE would have gotten to today, right? Where it is today when it first rolled out. Remember, I mean, it rolled out really slowly. It started in the very very densely populated areas, New York's and Chicago's and LA's, and then it kind of slowly migrated across the U.S. right, and the rest of the world. So I think we're going to see that similar type of rollout. And we don't see a lot happening as far as full real availability, not marketing by somebody saying we're 5G today, because it's not there yet today. So we don't see a full rollout until sometime next year or starting next year, and a complete rollout, for maybe even into 2021, right? So we're still a ways off, but knowing that our gear is already 5G enabled, we just announced that we had a major announcement with AT&T that we're in the lab testing with them. So we're well ahead of most of the other folks that are out there in the testing and everything else. But we see, again, the 5G rollout going to be very similar to how LTE was from a rollout perspective. And then lastly, one of the other things I'd say is a lot of people, when they ask where are we with 5G, a lot of people mean when they ask that question, do we see getting away from bonding? Will bonding go away, right? So our job is to deliver reliable and redundant and high quality video, right? And 5G initially, anyway, will not be the end all be all where we'll be able to just throw away bonding and get away with no bonding at all, right? So even with 5G, we're still going to be doing bonding to make sure that we're giving full, reliable, redundant, and the highest quality video delivery possible over that network.
That's awesome. I mean, it's exciting. I mean, 5G is going to bring a lot of different opportunities, and it's just going to open the doors for doing, unbelievable, functions and features, and enabling these units to do even more than what they're already capable of doing. So I've got another question, specific question here. So maybe 5G will help if this is not in the works right now. Is it possible to remote control a PTZ camera via far end communication and trigger in-camera recording? Hey.
Right. That's a great question. That's an awesome question. We get asked that a lot. That's not available today, but that is something, again, that 5G probably will help do. And that is exactly one of the things that we think 5G is going to enable and help enable, and should allow us to get that type of capability, much more control of things, not just PTZ, but other devices and other things. So, today not possible. 5G world possible. Absolutely.
Cool. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I think, let me see. I think we might have one more. What's the most cost-effective way to add backpacks to a production without adding more servers?
Backpacks to a production without adding more servers. Well, if you already have a server, then you can add as many backpacks really as you like. The issue that you're going to encounter is how do you want those to be deployed to go to air, right? So let's say you have a quad output server and then you have 10 backpacks. Well, only 4 can be live at one time, any given time, right? Because of the number of outputs. But you could have 6 or X amount feeding that same server, but it's the number of outputs, right? So if you wanted to have 10 outputs or 10 available to you on the output side, you'd have to obviously add more servers. So I think that question really needs to have a little bit more of a discussion about how your workflow is going to be. But you could buy as many backpacks as you want and still just have one server. But at the end of the day, if you say I want to have 5 or 8 available outputs, right, to do multiple boxes of people on air at the same time, like they do, on CNN or MSNBC, then you will need more channels of output available to you.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think, with the, let's say, with the encoders, if you're coming back and you're receiving the sources, it's got to hit a server. If you want a physical output to take into your switcher. But again, that's why it matters how you're going to be broadcasting, because you'll be able to take those backpacks and push them out to servers in the cloud as well, which is also possible. So we have the physical servers, and then we also have cloud servers, dedicated cloud servers available, which could then push out RTMP. So if you had some sort of environment that called for multiple backpacks and each of them doing a separate stream, then we're able to spin up those servers for your production, for that particular production, or on the lease basis, and then you'd be able to utilize those. And another nice thing about, again, the whole LiveU workflow and the options that are available within the LiveU solutions, if you own those backpacks and let's say you're using them across the country for different purposes, for different types of events that might be going on, but you have that single server at home base. But if you find that you've invested in those packs, but you find that you're doing this one event that calls for more sources than what your server is capable of handling, since you already own the backpacks, we're able to also rent a server out for that production. So that also will give you the ability to scale up for a particular event. And then again, you'll find that obviously it's more cost effective to purchase the equipment in the long run. But on a real one-off, you'd be able to expand in that direction if you needed to. So purchase options and the lease options that are available from LiveU, there's a lot of ways to kind of jump in and and start using this immediately with your productions.
yes, more discovery needed.
Yes, more discovery needed. Exactly, exactly. Well, I think that's all we have for at least the Q&A right now.
Okay.
I would like to do just a quick show you guys kind of behind the scenes of what we're doing here. If you want to hang out for another couple minutes with us, George, we'll just give you a quick look and then we'll sign off. But I've got right now my 600 coming in. Let's switch over to it here. There it is. That's my 600. Let's widen out a little bit, Alex. You can see there's the LU2000 that's in the rack there, and Alex will show kind of our little pop-up studio that we've got going on over here. So you can see we've got a full little green screen here. We're actually doing a full renovation of our facility. We're doing a full redesign. We're building a control room and building a full cyclorama here at our East Rutherford showroom. So we're going to have, again, we have them now, but it's going to be set up in a full control room, a server room. There's wiring being done, fiber going to rooms, networking for NDI, video going to all the different rooms in our facility. And so that's why we're in a little bit of a temporary setup we're doing this broadcast from, but hey, that goes to show we can spin these up and down in different locations and different areas and broadcast. So thank you for joining us, George. Thank you for the information. And thank you to everybody who joined us online. You guys can absolutely reach us either through phone, 888-656-6233. We'd be happy to answer any questions you guys have. Again, we have a full demo facility here, so come check it out. The best way sometimes to see if this is the right solution for you is if you can come in and actually get your hands on it and and play with it, see it working, see it in action. And that's what we'd be able to offer you. You can come in, take a look, and then again, we'd be happy to make those suggestions, those recommendations. We do the full studio installation, the full integration. So again, we're showing TriCaster and LiveU today, but we carry all the major brands in terms of cameras and all the different kinds of equipment we might need to put a full solution together for you, LiveU being a very, very important piece of that puzzle. And so, again, thank you, George. Thank you for the time. Thanks for joining us from your hotel room in Seattle. And,
Absolutely.
And we appreciate everybody who joined us today. So reach out if you have any other questions. We'd be happy to help them out. Have a great day. All right, guys? Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.